So does Devashis, did we get any questions from Anonymous?
No, not now, Maharaj.
Well, Anonymous is blooped. Gone.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
And I don't even know if it's a he or she.
Maharaj, maybe you can tell us something about Srila Narottam Das Thakur, his appearance day.
I don't really know so much about Narottam Das Thakur. I know that Mahaprabhu was calling out Narottam, Narottam before Narottam appeared. So, and of course, we know Narottam Das Thakur from the many beautiful songs that he offered. But when Narottam, Narottam, Srivas Acharya or Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Srinivas Acharya, and also Shamananda. They were in Vrindavan with Jiva Goswami. And I know something about Shamananda, right? And I know something about Srivasacharya, but less. Well, Narottam, let me think. Was it Narottam? As far as let me see. Narottam, I believe he was criticized because he was taking. Was it that he was taking disciples who were Brahmins, but he is not a Brahmin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So then after the pirate king, well, they were the three of them were traveling to Bengal with the trunk of all the writings of the Goswamis, and then that trunk was stolen by the king of the dacoits, I guess you could say, Virambir. And Srinivas Acharya, he stayed behind to preach to the king and convert him to get those publications, to get the books. And Narottam went on to Bengal. And Narottam, what is he? He is the son of a prince, was it? Narottam was like a prince, is that right?
I think so, Maharaj, yeah.
And he had disciples, and of course, he wrote, these wonderful, wonderful songs of like Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, which Guru Maharaj would sing. He was given that charge by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And so many songs that we're singing every day. Sri Guru Charana Padma, songs about Nityananda Prabhu, songs about Mahaprabhu, for instance, when we sing Nitai Pada Kamala, we're singing also the song about Mahaprabhu, Gorangar Duti Pada. And so many beautiful songs. But the Smarta Brahmins were criticizing Narottam. And he was a very advanced soul, a great devotee. But he was being criticized because he was not a Brahmin and he was taking Brahmin disciples and like this. And And then when he left this world, forget the first time he left. Well, how was it he left? He just passed away.
Yes.
And then, but there was something about his passing that the smarter Brahmins said, you see, he passed away. And this indicated in us something about it that they criticized. This indicated that he was unqualified. Do you remember how it was that he passed away?
Yeah, no, just that without fulfilling the without debating with them over, before being able to establish his position, he passed away, and his disciples were crying, "Oh, Guru
So
Davis is very bad."
Then his disciples prayed and they're criticizing. So then Narottam came back to life. And then he preached very successfully and everything. And then finally, when he left as he turned into milk. That's what I remember.
Yes.
But about his actual life, I don't know, but I mean, I'm very ignorant. I cannot say so much about Narottam. Let me see, but I will. I looked to see if we had anything from our Sri Chaitanya Saraswati. Here's something. It says, now this was prepared for the devotee children by Parama Bhakti Dasi on the occasion of his appearance day. Since I'm asked, I'll read this since I'm childlike. So anyway, one day when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing and chanting together with the devotees, he suddenly looked to the distance towards the village of Sri Keturi. He began to cry out, Narottam, Narottam, over and over again. Nityananda Prabhu also called out in great happiness. On the banks of the Padmavati River in the town of Gopalpur lived a king named Krishnananda Datta with his queen, Sri Naravani Devi. He was very rich. King Krishnananda's son was Sri Santosh Datta, who later became Sri Narottam Das Thakur. So for Sri Santosh Datta, who later became, everyone could immediately see that this was no ordinary child, and his father, Raja Krishnananda, was very pleased and gave many things to the Brahmins to please them. The Brahmins told him the boy was a very special soul and a great personality, and that he would deliver many people. He was very beautiful. His eyes were shaped like lotus petals, and his body was shining like molten gold. His arms were very long, and he had a deep navel. These are all signs of a great devotee. Everyone in the town came to see the child. Queen Naravani Devi would take very good care of him, feeding him and always holding him close to her side, always keeping him close to her side. He was a very quiet child. He never cried. When he got a little older, he went to school, which he enjoyed very much at first. He was very good at school. He would study Sanskrit, grammar, and poetry, and he became an expert in scripture. But after some time, he found that this wasn't really giving him satisfaction. He wanted to hear about the Lord. An old Brahmin, Krishnadas, who lived in Sri Keturi, came to visit Narottam nearly every day. As soon as he came in, Narottam would bow down in front of the Brahmin. The Brahmin would tell him all about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The way he told him all these things could make stone melt. He also told him about Srinivas Prabhu, Mahaprabhu's dear friend and follower. By hearing many wonderful things about Srinivas, Narottam would faint. The Brahmin told him how upset Srinivas had been when he found out that Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu had all left this world. Srinivas Prabhu was so upset that he wanted to jump into the river. He just didn't know what to do with himself. When Narottam heard this story, he was so sad and angry with himself that he never had the chance to meet these very great devotees. Then one day Narottam had a dream. In that dream, he saw Mahaprabhu. He looked like gold. His hair was all beautiful and curly, and he was wearing very nice earrings, and his lotus eyes were absolutely beautiful. Mahaprabhu's smiling face looked like the moon, and he wore the most beautiful tilak you can imagine. Narottam could only cry when he saw the beauty of his Lord. Mahaprabhu sweetly told him, "Oh, Narottam, look at me. Please don't cry. Don't worry. Go straight to Vrindavan. There you will find your guru, my dear devotee Lokanath. He will pass the sweet nectar of the Maha Mantra into your ears. I have many plans for you, things you have to do." In the meantime, his father and mother saw what was happening with their son, and they were very scared that he would take off and leave. They even hired a guard so that he couldn't escape the palace. Narottam Das prayed to the Lord to help him escape. So one day his parents had to go somewhere, and somehow or other, he managed to escape the palace. It was full moon as he left home and went on his way to Vrindavan. He just ran for 15 days without stopping. He would sometimes drink some milk or eat some roots and fruits. He was thinking of Vrindavan all the time, and sometimes he would just forget that he was hungry or thirsty. Everywhere on his way, he would meet devotees of Sri Gauranga and Sri Nityananda, and they would tell him wonderful things about them. In this way, Narottam was thinking of the Lord constantly. Everyone was totally astonished when they saw him, and they all wondered if he was a demigod or a prince. His parents were heartbroken when they found out that he left. Everyone talked about him. They said, "This must be the Narottam that Mahaprabhu talked about in Ramakeli. It is our prince he was talking about, and now he has probably left to go to Vrindavan." Finally, after visiting many holy places, he arrived in Mathura. When he saw the river Jamuna, he offered many prayers. When he heard that Rupa and Sanatan, Mahaprabhu's close friends and followers, already left the world, tears came from his eyes like a river. In Vrindavan, Srinivas had a dream in which Sri Jiva Goswami spoke, saying, "Tomorrow you will meet Narottam." In the morning, Srinivas woke up and quickly went to see Jiva Goswami and told him what he had dreamt. Sri Jiva Goswami was very happy when he heard this and said, "Sri Chaitanya had told me before about someone called Narottam, and I have told you about him. He is a young man, and he looks absolutely beautiful, and his eyes are always full with tears of love. This is the Narottam for whom we have been waiting for so long." Then Srinivas ran to the temple of Sri Govinda, where he found Narottam. He tightly embraced Narottam. The head priest came with garlands worn by the deities and gave them to them. Sri Jiva Goswami took Narottam to a small house where Sri Lokanath Goswami was staying. He was going to be the guru of Narottam, as Mahaprabhu had said. Narottam bowed down before him and he placed his feet on Narottam's head. Sometime later, Sri Lokanath Goswami initiated Narottam Das Thakur. Well, we've heard that whole story about how Lokanath Swami initiated Narottam, right?
Yeah.
Has everyone, you all heard that?
Was he used to follow him and he didn't want to initiate him?
Yes.
Ah.
And especially Lokanath, is a very humble Vaishnav, and he not taking, I believe, not taking followers, and he didn't want to initiate also the son of a king. So, but Narottam used to clean up after where Lokanath was passing stool, and after some time, Lokanath noticed that, and then he hid, and then he saw Narottam come there for that. Anyway, Narottam begged him for initiation. Later, Narottam also met Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who was also very happy to meet Narottam. The friend that they all had been waiting for had finally arrived. In this way, Narottam met all the great devotees and scholars in Vrindavan. Shiva Goswami would teach Srinivas Pandit and Narottam Das Thakur the scriptures, and he told them to take the holy books with them to Bengal. So together with Shamananda, they left for Bengal, but on their way, something really terrible happened. Thieves stole the scriptures, and later they found out it was a Muslim king who had told them to do so. Narottam and Srinivas were so sad that they felt sick as if they were struck by lightning. The next day, they decided that Srinivas would stay behind and Narottam Das Thakur and Shamananda would continue their journey. The king was so impressed by the devotion of Srinivas that he gave him back the scriptures, which he then brought to Navadip. In Navadip, Narottam Das Thakur met several very important people. He went to the house of Jagannath Mishra, the father of Mahaprabhu, where he went to bow down. He also met Ishan Thakur, who was the old servant of Sachimata Mahaprabhu's mother. In another village called Karadahagram was the house of Nityananda Prabhu. There Narottam Das met with Nityananda Prabhu's wife Janava Devi, and she gave him her blessing. Some days later, Narottam went to another holy place, Jagannath Puri, the city of Lord Jagannath, and the place where Mahaprabhu stayed the last period of his manifest pastimes here on earth. Let's see. Okay, it's part. The great festival of Ketarigram, together with Janava Devi, Srinivas, Shamananda, and many other great devotees from all over the country, Narottam Das Thakur organized a great festival, the first Gaur Purnima festival ever. The king there organized boats for the devotees to cross the river. He arranged places for them to stay, and he organized prasadam. There would be 6 deities installed, and therefore the temple was beautifully decorated with different kinds of flowers, mango leaves, water pots, swastika signs, and banana leaves. There was a mountain of clay pots filled with ghee, yogurt, vegetables, and fruit. The evening before the festival, Narottam Das offered chandan, sandalwood pulp, to Janava Devi, and he gave her a flower garland and worshipped her. The next day, the deities were installed by Srinivasacharya. Then Janava Devi and Achyutananda told Narottam Das to start the kirtan, the chanting of the holy names. The singing of Narottam Das was so beautiful and lovingly performed that Mahaprabhu, together with his followers, decided to come down and join them. Everyone was in tears and completely filled with love. Sometime later, the separation of his Lord and all the dear devotees who had left this world became simply too much for Narottam Das Thakur. So one day he asked the devotees to have Sankirtan. After that, he went into the holy river Ganges, where he bowed down again and again. He asked two devotees, pour water of the Ganges over my body. Just when the devotees wanted to do that, Narottam Das Thakur, who was chanting constantly, disappeared from this world. Okay, well, so this is a nice description, I think. How did this appear to you? Written for children, but I thought it was nice.
Very beautiful, Maharaj. Very nice. Beautiful.
Maharaj, one question is how do you think? How do you imagine that will work the logistic going to India in order to make a parikram and all that, given the whole situation or circumstance that we're going through right now? Let's say for Radhastami, given that it is possible to go to India, how would you play that?
If I wanted to go to India, I'd just go to India. First day of parikrama, we would leave the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat in Navadip, walk to the Ghat, catch a boat going to Mayapur, and then we would be in Mayapur for a good part of the day, go to the different temples, go to the temple of Shiva, because Shiva is protector of the Dham. And so I believe first when you get in Mayapur, there's a temple of Lord Shiva to go to on the road. And we would go to the temple. I guess the first temple we came to was that of, on the opposite side from the deity of established by Bhakti Daita Maharaj. Then there's a place of the what do they call it? The Dharmpala, which is Lord Shiva. And we would go to one, I don't know if they still stop at all these places, but one temple on the left, where left side of the road as you're walking away from the Ghat down the road, come to the temple of Devananda. Not Devananda, sorry, the temple of brother Madhav Maharaj, his temple. Madhav Maharaj, a deity there, and nice temple. Then we continue on to the temple of Sri Bhakti Sharanga Goswami Maharaj. That is where Mahaprabhu met with Nityananda Prabhu, Nandanacharya Pavan. Then on, all the time be speaking at these places, and go on to the ISKCON Mayapur Mandir. But it's actually, we didn't so much go into Mandir. They'd always be having classes at that time, but we would enter into the Samadhi of Srila, the Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The devotees had some, would travel, maybe they drink some water or something there. And then we'd spend some time in the temple of Prabhupada. Well, we would be in that Nandanacharya Bhavan, then we would go to ISKCON, Mayapur, and there's the Pushpa Samadhi, very big, of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We didn't always go to separate places, the Mayapur Chandradoya Mandir, but they would be having classes there, and our party would be big, so we didn't generally go that far away. Then we'd continue walking until we got to the Yog Pit, the place of Mahaprabhu's birth, and also the neem tree, under which Mahaprabhu. I'm just saying all these things you want to be. I personally would like to keep, if I'm going, I'd like to keep the same sequence of days that they followed in the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat. That would be my interest. See, my thinking about traveling anyway is I won't go anywhere till after Srila Saraswati Thakur's appearance day. And that's next Monday. And that I want to be here in the so-called Sevashram for that, because to me, that's, as Srila Govinda Maharaj told me, that's such a very important day and it should be observed nicely. So that's next Monday, the 21st, the appearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then after that, can see about traveling, but I was thinking more traveling locally. I was thinking of traveling to Mexico. But I understand that India is open now. You can get a tourist visa for India. I had in the past a 10-year visa, but now I changed passports. My old passport was expiring, but I don't think my visa has expired yet. So, be possible. Why are you thinking of traveling to India, Gaurachandra?
Not right now. I don't know what is the situation right there, but yeah, definitely going to towards the end of the year, kind of
Oh, okay.
Radhastami will be very, very nice to do. But I'm wondering what will be how to do it, with whom to meet there.
Well, if you're going later in the year, that's would seem to be around Kartik time then.
Yes.
So you would go to Vrindavan, I guess, and join with the devotees that are in Vrindavan.
Hmm.
Yeah. Subhasini, good morning or good evening in your case.
What's Maharaj?
You're at your place in Ireland?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, I'm here. Planning to go to India next month, Maharaj, at the end of next month.
Okay, you'll go to South India?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. I'm going to. Haven't been there for nearly 2 years now, too. So.
So where will you go? Where is your place?
I will fly to Chennai, actually, Madras. Yeah.
Hmm. I only visited Chennai one time, many years ago. Was 1973 or something. Yeah, if I went to India, I would want to First of all, I would want to visit Navadip. And that temple's in there. Then I would maybe want to go to Jagannath Puri and then to Vrindavan. But the first place I would want to visit is Navadip. I might not stay in the actual Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mutt. I could or could not stay there, I don't know. But right now, the way things are, unless there's other devotees, I might just do my own parikrama. That is, let's see, calendar. Lord Purnima is on the 18th of March. Then the parikramas must be the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, I would think. Let's see. Well, it says here, the 12th of March, which is Saturday, is the Adivas festival. And then here it says the 14th of March, which is the Dashami day, we go on parikrama. And that's, looks like it's to the Ishodam, Yog Pit, Srivasangam, Shringa Mandir, Sri Advaita Bhavan, Murari Gupta Bhavan, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mutt, the temple of Shri Shri, Gandharvika Giridhari. So, yeah, 13th, 14th, 14th. 15th. So the 14th must be a Ekadasi. 14th March. Pap Nashini Mahadvarasi. All right, let's see, no. I'd have to check a Panjika to see what day Ekadasi is in India. Normally, we began the Navadip Dham Mahatmya. We began with that book, Navadip Dham Mahatmya. We began the parikramas on the Ekadasi day, generally. And we arrived on Ekadasi to the mandir in Navadip, which the Jagannath Mandir, and we would take a Ekadasi picnic, I believe, in that, because the first day is Antardweep, going through Mayapur, and some other places. Like we'd also visit the place of, what is it? There was a Shiva temple. I think it's now underwater. So that would be Rudradweep. But mainly are visiting Antardweep, places of temples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then they go to the Chand Kazi's Samadhi place. And we'd also go to the Jagannath temple. There we'd take a Ekadasi lunch. and then we'd go some other places like the temple of Shiva in Rudradvip. Then I guess we'd go back to the mandir. So I don't know what is the situation in India very well. I mean, may be possible to stay in some places. It may not be possible to stay. When I refer specifically to whether you could stay in Nishringapali or in the central Mad in Navadip, I don't know. But I would think not. And just make some adjustment. How many persons here have been on parikrama? Everyone? Devashis, you, Lavanya Mayi. Rasaraj, you've been on parikrama?
No, Maharaj.
Others? Well, it's nice.
Yes, I've been in 2013 was the last time I was on the parikrama there in Navadip.
If I was there, I could meet with other devotees. Take your own parikrama. Go a small
Con
parikrama.
cuidado, mami.
It's possible.
Se llama Rami cuando viene.
Más tardito.
We would just go to the Ghat in Navadip and take a boat across to the land, the Ghat, or the place where the boat lands in Mayapur. And then from there, it's just straight walking, just a straight path. Very nice. Until you get to Jagannath Mandir. Then after Jagannath Mandir, maybe you go to Samantadvip and then to Rudradvip. And so many temples there in Mayapur. And that's and the Navadip Dham Mahatmya is it's described as Antardvip, the center of the lotus petal of all the different islands.
Maharaj, but we still have Eka chakras, so I suppose the devotees can also stay there and go on the other parikramas, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go to Eka Chakra, but I would want to be near Navadip or Mayapur to do the Navadip Dham parikramas from there, especially the first parikramas, just starting out from the landing at the Ghat and then just going through Mayapur. And you're just walking on the road till you get to the Jagannath Mandir. Then Jagannath Mandir is a little off the road. And everywhere we would go, we would read the Navadip Dham Mahatmya. And I think we have that. Oh, here it is. This nice edition. Very nice edition here. I will see. I'm going to show the virtual parikramas again. And you can see where we're going. If you have not been on the Navadip Dham parikramas much. Now this is organized how we would do it leaving Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mutt. Then there was a different organization for when going from Nishingapali, because Nishingapali is far away from the beginning of the parikrama path. We would go to Nishingapali, would be our last stop on the third day. The third day, we start out with Swarup Ganj and what is it? What's the first place called? Do you remember? It's the house of Bhakti Thakur is the second place. And the first place is Bhakti Thakur's house. Question is, where will the devotees stay when they all go there? When they go to India? Anyone have an answer?
It's we'll just wait and see, isn't it, for now?
What's that?
To just wait and see. I mean, this year probably will be difficult, but maybe next year might be possible.
Yeah.
Because although you could find somewhere, you'd have to book it in advance because places get booked up really a lot.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Tirtha Maharaj. He was staying in Navadip. He wasn't staying at the Mat though. He was staying in, I think.
He has some place, yeah.
Surabhi Kunj. That's what
Rabi Kunj, Subarna Bihar.
Yes, Harihar. Surabhi Kunj, and then Bhakti Vinod Thakur's place in Surabhi Kunj, and then to Harihara Chetra.
Dandavad Maharaj, Dandavad devotees.
Dandavad Ananta Govinda. One year, I wasn't there that year, but one year the devotees stayed in Mayapur with a disciple of one person related with a Madhav Maharaj Mandir. Does anyone know about that? The devotees stayed there one year.
Maharaj, is very different now that like we are not really able to stay there, but when we go to Vrindavan, to all these different holy places, we go and pay our dandavats, and then we just go and live, right? And we don't know who is staying in there, who is looking after all these special temples and
Where in Vrindavan?
like in Vrindavan, all the special places that we go for, parikrama. We just go and pay our dandavats and then we just leave, isn't it? It's going to be something like that.
Not necessarily. Everywhere we go on Navadip Dham Parikrama, we would read from the Navadip Dham Mahatmya.
Mm-hmm.
Read about that place. We'd sit down, read about the place. And the second day we would take some breakfast over near Jagannath Das Babaji's Samadhi. There's a big field near there. I mean, if I was going to India, I would just go on the same days to the same places where we went. And you could always take some prasadam with you or something. Just talking when Gaurachandra was asking about India, just him asking made me have the desire to go to India, to go to for the Gaur Purnima. Because Govinda Maharaj told me to go to, he said, I should always go to the Mat during Gaur Purnima time. So it's always nice to go to Gaur Purnima. Of course, when Govinda Maharaj was there, he also told me I should stay at least 1 month. So I would go for an entire month. So then maybe a little after, week or two after Nityananda's appearance day, which was just last Monday, and maybe after Saraswati Thakur's divine appearance next Monday, then that'd be a good time to travel to India. I would, of course, I'd be there a month. I'd stay with Srila Govinda Maharaj, as did everybody. We all stayed with Srila Govinda Maharaj. But if I was there a month, and if I was there early, maybe, well, I'd just go to, I'd be probably with Govinda Maharaj in Kolkata, and then I'd go to Navadip. Some years, maybe you could go to Jagannath Puri if you were there early enough. Then go to the festival and Navadip Dham Parikrama. And then afterwards, sometimes the devotees would go, for instance, with Acharya Maharaj, go to Vrindavan. And, so. Arjuna Saka, have you been to India?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Huh?
Not yet, unfortunately.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to going to India, actually.
But yeah, when you were asking me, Gaurachandra, about going to India and everything, gives me some desire to go there, actually. Once you're there, I mean, maybe I mean, I remember Avadut Maharaj, he said that he asked, well, should we stop going to, if we like, we know the situation in Navadip, and he asked to Govinda Maharaj, so if we are not, if the devotees are not, like with Acharya Maharaj and everything, are not in Navadip, should we not go to the mandir? And Govinda Maharaj said, no, should still go to the mandir. But maybe I wouldn't stay in the mandir, but I would still go to the mandir. Maybe even spend some time there or something. I don't know, the last 10, 12 years have been difficult. But my memory of Navadip and everything goes back before 10 years or 12 years. When I first met Srila Prabhupada, it was in India. Of course, it wasn't in Mayapur, or it wasn't in Navadip or anything. It was in Mumbai. And then I went with him to Kolkata. And then later to different places in India. But it wasn't until 2 or 3 years maybe 2 years after we first got there that we went to Navadip, to Mayapur. Several years passed. But even so, my memory of Navadip and Navadip Dham Parikram, being in the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, I mean, or being in Mayapur too, it goes back a long time. It goes back, 40 some years. But still, Govinda Maharaj told me I should always go to, he said I should always go to Navadip Dham for Gaur Purnima. So I should always go there. So it was interesting because that time of the year, I was never in the West. Even when I'm living in other places, like Mexico or America, I would always get a ticket and go to Kolkata and then go to Navadip. And it's very easy to go to Navadip. You can take a bus, you can go by train, you can hire a taxi and go with other people. It's very easy to go there. Not difficult at all. And if you go there, any rickshaw can take you to the mat. You just, when you're in the area, you just say, all you have to do is say, Jal Mandir. All the rickshaws know Navadip temple is Jal Mandir because they have because the mandir they built in the middle of Govinda Kund. So Jal Mandir means the water mandir. And it's very famous. The rickshawwalas can take you there. Then we have devotees who live in Navadip who could help. Who's that lives there?
Gopal.
Gopal lives there. Used to be. I mean, it's really nice to walk. But if somebody's old or has a family with them or children or something, they can. Now they have these electric rickshaws. They're the new rickshaws. They don't run by gasoline. They're electric rickshaws. You've taken them, right?
Yeah, in Govardhan they have them.
Yeah, they have them in Navadip too. Anyway, I'm going to end here. It's getting a little late. It's after 12. And it's Purnima. Please forgive me for not, talking very not talking very much Krishna Katha, but anyway.
No, Maharaj, you've also raised the desire in me anyway, and I'm sure many others, for seeing Navadip Dham for the parikrama again.
Yeah, you can do it. As far as I understand, what I heard is if you had the vaccination, you can just show that you have a vaccination. I think you have to take some test before you go there. And if you, in one way or another, you get to Navadip, maybe, or to India rather, you have to take some, even if I was told it's just a one-day affair, maybe one day you have to be in quarantine or something, or this or that, or have a test. Whatever it is, it didn't seem to be very much difficulty. You can go there, and then after one day, you're free to go about as normal.
Right.
That's what I was told. So, and I think you can still get the internet visa. You can apply for an internet visa to get a 30-day visa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough. Unless, Jai Krishna. And there is Ratnavali. How are you?
Dandavas Maharaj. How are
Dandavas.
you?
I'm well.
How are you feeling, Maharaj? You look well.
Yeah. Maybe I have some, I can't see my back, so I may still have a little bit of that, whatever it's called, that shingles. But
shingles. Oh.
Yeah, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all.
That's really good, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Can give you a lot of pain, chronic pain with it.
No, I actually I don't know, I've been living different than I ever lived before, and I feel really good. Again, a reform Swami. Right now
It's a herbal tea.
I'm drinking cold chamomile tea made from flowers.
Oh wow.
And I feel very good, actually.
Glad to hear it, Maharaj. Good to see you. Sorry I've not been able to see you. It's been very busy at work, and I get home really late after the class is finished by 8:13.
Are you working in the hospital?
No, still in general practice, but family physician, but it's just super busy at this point in time. Just really busy at work. I just got back from work.
Hard-working person.
I don't know about that, Maharaj. I'll try and put the hours in.
We're just talking about Navadip Dham Parikrama. It gives me the desire to go to India. I mean, Purnima is coming up, and it would be so nice to be back in India and to be in Navadip or Antardweep, Mayapur.
It would be awesome.
Indeed. Hopefully next year.
I mean, if someone goes there, I'm sure they can find a place to stay and then go on the parikramas.
Napoli. How about Narshingapoli, Maharaj? The
Yeah,
temple in Narshingapoli.
well, I'd probably get into an argument with Shantamar, so I don't know. But maybe not. I don't know. But you know, that's a little far from the beginning, the parikrama path.
Yeah. It is a bit, yeah.
I talked to Tirthamar. He has some place in Navadip.
If all else fails, there are guest houses that you can potentially, large guest houses that can be used, rented.
Yeah,
It's doable.
sure. All you would basically need is mosquito net.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
If you had a mosquito
Yes.
net and
And a mattress.
And a
Small
mat.
place to sleep. Yeah.
mosquito net, a mat, and
That
some
would work
blanket, and maybe a pillow would be enough.
well. Yes.
Isn't it? With those, you could survive.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. Yes, I left the meeting for around 3 or 4 minutes, Maharaj, because one neighbor calling me at my front door. But I think you're welcome every time you go to India. Everywhere they will accept you. You're welcome everywhere, Maharaj. You won't have any problem.
I'm sure you
not
could
planning
stay.
to go. Yeah, with who you will get associated, that's a big problem. But to stay anywhere you can stay, there you're going to be welcome always. Even on the mat, I think you have a problem.
I'm sure Abhidut Maharaj will be there with devotees.
Yeah.
So then all you have to do is learn a little Russian.
Yeah. I got no vaccination. I'm not planning to go to India, but next time I go, I will try to go with you. I got no plan to go now. No possibility, but and if always we have plans to go to India, especially in this time of Gol Purnima, we will get the association, all the devotees there. But after, now there's no Srila Maharaj there, so we have to wait for a while. I think in the future things will get a little better and it will be harmonized everything. Slowly.
Well, maybe you don't have to wait. Maybe you don't have to wait for a while. Maybe you just have to.
In my case.
Maybe you'd want to also go to Eka Chakra and visit Acharya Maharaj's Samadhi.
Yeah, but I'm not planning to go. No, I think after 1 or 2 years. But I got no vaccination, Maharaj. I don't believe in that. Hidden Venezuela is very dangerous, and I have to do some arrangement to go to India. I guess around.
I'm not planning.
I'm
also not planning on going there this year, but I will call up Ashram Maharaj and suggest it.
Last time I went there, we made the parikrama together. That was in 2012, I think, with Srila Acharya Maharaj. You was there, Srila Bhakti Kuswara Maharaj also was there. I think that was the last time I went to India. By that time, that was 2012, 2013.
I know some,
Since
I
that
know
time,
that-
I haven't.
I heard the devotees from Utah are going to India, but I think they're principally going to Vrindavan, but I would go to Navadip.
Yeah.
Devashish, any possibility you might go?
Not this year, Maharaj. No, I mean, even with the desire and the opportunity to go, I'm a poor man now. I'm a beggar.
You're living on the dole now, huh?
No, I'm not even living on the dole now. No.
Oh, you're cut off from the dole, huh?
Yeah. I just have a very small pension.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that,
But
my
let's see.
pension, my pension is $35 a month. All right, I'll say my dandavats to all of you. We'll see you again next week.
Yes, always good to see you, Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
Maharaj.
Ishanuga Devashish, Lavanya Mayi, Rasaraj, Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Mohini, Falguni, Bhagavan, Gaurachandra, Subhashini.
That's Maharaj. Yeah.
Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.
Ananda Swarupini and Arjuna
Very
Sukha,
good, very
Devananda and Ananta Govinda, Jai Krishna, Ratnavali, Shama Malini. Happy to see all of you. Made this day very nice for me by being able to see all of you. So my Dandava pranams to everyone.
Dhanyavad Maharaj.